Okay, so I just wanted to welcome everybody to today's presentation. A couple of housekeeping things. If you could just keep yourselves on mute as the presentation's going on, and then feel free to unmute yourself and you can ask Corey any questions that you have. And if you'd rather use a text chat, you could do that and I could relay those questions back to him. So I just wanted to welcome our guest speaker today, Corey Jones, who's the Regional Business Advisor for the Northwestern Ontario Innovation Centre and SNAPP point of contact for Thunder Bay, Kenora, and Rainy River districts. So thank you very much for coming in today and presenting for us. We really appreciate it.
Okay. So today I'm going to be giving an overview of the SNAPP program, or the Sustainable New Agri-Food Products and Productivity Program. So this program is a program offered by RAIN Rural Aggravation Network based in Sault Ste. Marie. The Innovation Centre, so the Northwestern Ontario Innovation Centre, is a partner organization on the program, as well as with the Ontario Agri-Food Alliance. So we all cover our own respective districts, and my part in the program is to cover most of Northwestern Ontario, so Kenora, Rainy River District, and Thunder Bay District as well. So I'm the main point of contact for there. But then all of the application intake and processing is done by RAIN themselves, and then a group of volunteer reviewers. So the purpose of the SNAPP program, if you aren't familiar with this program, it has been around for a fairly long time now. This is my third intake of the program. So I've been with the SNAPP program for the duration of these past three intakes, but it has been around for several years prior to that. And their mission has stayed fairly similar throughout the duration of it. So SNAPP strives to stimulate the development and expansion of agriculture and food sector in Northwestern Ontario, catalyze sustainable jobs or increase agri-food employment, address challenges specific to Northern Ontario agri-food production, such as a shorter production season, distance to markets, and lack of economies to scale, and promote value-added processing and innovative production and processing practices that increase scalability, profitability, and competitiveness, and improve efficiency or resource use, reducing ecological impact, carbon footprint, while enhancing profitability. So this slide here is really important if you are looking to fill out an application. A couple of key points from this slide are what you'll see later in the presentation are the three streams of the program, as well as what the reviewers look like when they're reviewing applications as key criteria that'll make your application a good one or not so much. So the three streams of the SNAPP program are new products. So the new product stream is for projects that enable agriculture or food producers to create primary or processed products that are new to the business and foster innovation while increasing competitive advantage. So new products are projects that allow agri-food businesses to basically allow them to bring new products to market. Productivity enhancement is projects that allow projects that utilize innovative technology or processes to increase efficiencies in their operations and improve processes or products. So productivity enhancements is definitely the most, I would say, subscribed to stream of the program. Each stream of the program doesn't have a specific amount of money allotted to it. There's one big pool of funding for the program as a whole. So don't think of, if one program gets more subscribed or one stream gets more subscribed than the other ones, that you have less chance of being successful. That's not true. It just, by the nature of it, productivity enhancement just fits more projects, because typically what you see here is a piece of equipment that allows a business to scale their operations in some manner. Cleantech and agri-food is a stream that focuses on projects that adopt clean technology at the farm business level and support improved environmental performance while fostering productivity, growth, and competitiveness. Eligible projects must improve environmental performance relative to standard and most common workplace technologies. So this stream, I would say that we don't receive many applications for this stream, but it's a great stream to have, because a lot of businesses maybe are purchasing a piece of equipment that doesn't necessarily help them scale their operations, but it does make their operation more clean or green friendly, which is very important when you're talking in the agri-food world. So some examples under the new product stream of potential projects. So processing equipment, so mixers, sterilizers, wash and pack systems for the creation of innovative value-added products to expand to new consumer markets and meet demand. Packaging equipment, so vacuum sealers, bottling equipment, labelers, etc., to enable the expansion of new product lines and increase distribution. So it's not only, I would say the important point to take from this slide is it's not only to bring new products to market, but also they factor in increased distribution of products that you already have. So say you're selling at a local farmer's market right now, or just local markets, this would allow you to, applying to this stream would allow you to access markets beyond just those local markets. Productivity enhancement. So a couple examples here. Innovative pest or predator management to increase efficiency and better control crop production. Precision agriculture technologies to meet management objectives and increase overall sales. LED lighting for hydroponic growing to increase productivity or year-round produce. Like I said earlier, the main applications we see for this section are pieces of equipment or additions to current pieces of equipment that allow you to scale your operations or make your operations more efficient in some manner. Finally, Cleantech and agri-food, so irrigation or rainwater harvesting systems to increase productivity and improve drought resilience. This was a very important one in Northwestern Ontario this year because we had a significant drought this past summer. So there were several other programs that were launched to help combat that drought. But what we're looking for here and what we're expecting is that businesses are going to want to be more proactive in the future when it comes to mitigating drought in their operations. So we're anticipating that that'll be a key component of this Cleantech section. Minimal or no-till equipment to improve crop productivity and increase environmental benefit. Passive solar greenhouse system to increase year-round production and reduce energy use. Okay, now what everyone wants to know, the funding for the program. So in this intake of SNAPP, I will mention it is a little bit different than previous intakes of the program, where the funding for this third intake is there's only one stream of funding, and it's up to $10,000 at 50% cost share to agri-food businesses in Northern Ontario. So typically when SNAPP is run, there is this $10,000 stream where individual businesses can apply, but there's also a collaboration stream. The collaboration stream is not available for this third intake. So it'll just be an individual application. And how that $10,000 works is there is 3 intakes of SNAPP over the duration of the program. So if you have applied to SNAPP in either intake 1 or 2, and you haven't used up your $10,000 yet, then you are eligible to apply to intake 3 to use the remainder of that $10,000. Or if you haven't applied to SNAPP at all, then you would be able to max out intake 3 and use up to your $10,000 in grant funding. So example, you would need to have a $20,000 project in order to receive the maximum funding from SNAPP for that project. Okay, eligible applicants. So this has changed slightly in intake 3 as well. So before I read the slide, one thing I will note is that SNAPP previously was open to new business startups, and SNAPP considers new business startups any businesses that haven't been in operation for 3 years. If you are prior to 3 years, then you will not be eligible to apply to SNAPP. So at the bottom, it says applicants must be in operation for a minimum of 1 year. That is the minimum requirement. What they really want to see is 3 years. So I would advise, you're eligible to submit an application after 1 year of being in operation, but likely in order to be approved, you would likely need to be in, your business model would need to be more proven than just having 1 year of revenue in order to apply. So going over the slide now, eligible applicants must be a legal person with the authority to enter into a legal agreement. Legal person could include corporations, not-for-profit organizations, primary producers, processors, distributors, First Nations, Métis, or Inuit. Applicants must have at least one component of their business located in Northern Ontario, and the project activity must occur in Northern Ontario. And both startup and existing businesses are eligible. Again, for that third intake, there's a slight caveat to that one. Startup is in the first 3 years of operation. Businesses are expected to provide a business plan with their application. So the key thing here for the eligible applicants is basically if you're impacting the agri-food sector directly, so meaning that you're bringing agri-food products to your local markets or the Northwestern Ontario agri-food market, then you are eligible for the program. Sometimes where we run into some hiccups is with nonprofits or academic institutions that are looking to apply for more so research-based projects. So if your project is research focused, not to say that you can't apply, but applying does become more difficult in that sense because you aren't directly impacting the agri-food industry in Northwestern Ontario by bringing products to it. Okay, eligible costs. So pieces of equipment are always the main, the standard for the program. So pieces of equipment are definitely eligible. So food and fiber processing equipment, greenhouse structures are eligible, food packaging and labeling equipment, cold storage equipment. So this can be a freezer or a display unit. Building materials are eligible. So a caveat on the building materials is that SNAPP will pay for the building materials or provide assistance with the building materials, but we don't actually pay for the labor costs included with actually erecting the structure or building the structure. So that's kind of a key component to that one. Farm production equipment delivery costs, and technology upgrades. Okay, and then this is how your project, so this is what I was mentioning earlier in the presentation on how projects will be prioritized. And this is a really key section for, again, this final intake of the program. So as I said earlier, and SNAPP has gone through intakes 1 to 2 already, and then this is the final intake of the program. Intake 3, we are making everyone aware, does have significantly less funding allotted to it than the first 2 intakes. So it's roughly half the amount of what was available in the first 2 intakes. So with that being said, we're anticipating that intake 3 will be much more competitive, for one. And then they're also focusing, they've also narrowed the program for intake 3 as well. So I mentioned there's no collaborations in this stream. So that was up to $25,000. That has been eliminated. New business startups also aren't eligible. So prior 1 year of operation, likely should have 3 in order to submit it, unless you have a really strong business model in order to apply. And then the other key component will be the innovative equipment or processes. So applications that may have been approved in the past when there has been significantly more funding might have a more difficult time this time. So say you have a piece of equipment on your farm or a piece of equipment you're using in your agri-food business that is simply outdated and you want to renew that piece of equipment. And it's not necessarily a new technology or it's an older technology that has been around for a really long time. You're going to have a more difficult time having that project approved in this intake, just because they are focusing on that innovative nature. So the innovative nature is an interesting component, and I will talk about it more and try to break that down for you, because innovative is definitely a loaded word. So I'll give a little bit more description on what they're looking for in terms of that innovative product or process. Another key criteria, so how new products developed foster innovation and increase distribution and competitive advantage relative to Northern Ontario. What new efficiencies will be implemented to increase production and decrease operating expenses through innovation in the process or technology, and how the project clearly demonstrates environmental or ecological benefits at an impacting scale through innovation in the process or technology. So a key component here, and something that the review committee really likes to see, is say you're implementing a new piece of equipment and you're applying under productivity and enhancement stream. They really want you to break down how much that piece of equipment is going to impact your operations in terms of, yield, hours spent, fuel consumption, all of those types of things, in order to really paint a clear picture on how much that piece of equipment is going to impact your business moving forward. Okay, so innovation. The innovation, like I said, innovation can be a very loaded word. What we're talking about with innovation for the purpose of applying to the SNAPP program is simply that for a project to be considered innovative, it needs to be new to the business or new to the region in some way. So say you're currently operating or currently doing your processing of your agri-food in a certain way. If you're going to completely change and remodel that into a new, more modern technology or more modern way, then that we would consider that an innovative project, even if the technology has been out for years. If it's new to your business or new to the region, then you can be considered, then we can consider it an innovative project just based on, is it advancing your business model and bringing your business up to modern times? Or are you simply redoing what you've been doing for the last, X amount of years? If it's the latter, where you're just simply redoing or, applying for a piece of equipment that you're already using in your operations that just needs to be updated, you're likely going to have a hard time applying for this intake specifically. So I'm happy to answer questions on that because I know that one can be a bit difficult to communicate. And then the other thing they're looking for, so after going through the main 3 streams of the program and kind of what they're looking for as a breakdown in terms of how that project is impacting your business in those streams, these are the other areas that the review committee looks for in terms of how your project impacts more so the agriculture, the agri-food sector as a whole in Northern Ontario. So the scalability of the project, the economic or sales impact of the project on the business and on Northern Ontario as a whole, jobs created or maintained as a result of the product. Jobs is always a big one when you're applying to grant programs. Funders really like to see that component. Strategic alliances created or maintained as a result of the project. A clear marketing or distribution plan required for new product stream. So if you're, let's say you're applying for, you want to bring this new product to the market and you need a specialized piece of equipment for it, well, then that part of your business or that revenue stream of your business isn't necessarily proven yet. So you're going to have to provide some sort of marketing plan or distribution plan for that new product to bring it to market. A sound business plan. So this is for startups only. If you've been in business for more than 3 years, there's no requirement to include that. And then application completeness. So what that simply means is, reading the application in its entirety and answering the questions that are being asked of you in each of the sections. Oftentimes we'll have people that provide an answer, but it's very cookie cutter in that, they've copy and pasted their mission statement or whatever it might be. You need to be directly looking at what the application is asking you and then respond to that. Finally, so intake 3 opens on Monday next week. We are also hosting another webinar to go over the application process on Thursday night. If you're interested in attending that, that'll be with the program manager, Kathy Bouchard from RAIN. Applications for this intake, very important to note, will be reviewed on a first come first served basis. So typically with SNAPP, there's a larger intake window. And then once that intake window closes, applications are then reviewed. For this intake, applications will be reviewed on a first come first served basis just because of the reduced amount of funding. So if you are looking at applying, I do suggest getting an application in as soon as possible after December 6th. And then projects must be completed by December 31st, 2020. So in order to receive an application, what you need to do, you have to reach out to your local point of contact. So if you're located in Northwestern Ontario, I would be your point of contact. You would provide me with an overview of the project you're looking at applying for, and then I would be able to provide you directly with the application. The application is not available on the website. And then here's contact information. If you're not located in this area, there are my other 2 colleagues there, Nofia and Kathy Bouchard, if you're located in those areas. And then my contact information is there as well. And that is it for my presentation. Is there any questions, Laurie?
You know what, if anybody has any questions, please feel free. You can unmute yourself. If not, you want to use a text chat, go ahead and I could get the question over to Corey.
I have had a few clients actually receive SNAP funding, but it was like a year ago. So I'm just wondering if with the changes that they've made, what's the turnaround time expected to be for approvals?
So approvals, likely you'll know, like they're going to be reviewing applications as they come in. So I would say, 2 months after submitting an application at the absolute most, you would know. So likely all the funding will be allotted by the end of, I want to say December, and then they'll start reviewing right away. So you should know within, that a couple of months or a month even after submitting application. There's no specific date though. I don't actually do the review part of the program, so I can't give you a specific date for that, but it will be quicker than previous intakes.
Okay, that was where I was heading. Thank you.
Yeah. One thing I should mention just on that note, there was a COVID adaptation stream of the program. If any of your clients did apply to that COVID adaptation stream and received $10,000 or any amount of money from SNAP through that stream, that was a separate program from the traditional intakes of SNAP. So they would still be able to apply to this third intake for the full $10,000, just as a note.
Okay, great. Does anybody else have any other questions? And if not, feel free, because Corey's information, you said you'd send the slide deck after, and
yep.
Yeah, we could reach you. So anyways, well, thank you everybody for joining us today. And thanks, Corey, for coming in and providing us this information. And we appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Yep. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks for the updates.
Thanks.